Wonderful as these classes have, boy, somebody else is coming. I mean, there are 40 people in class today, my God. God bless. It's a marathon here. I mean, this has been a wonderful, extraordinary year doing these meditations online. I mean, if there's anything I miss, and I really mean this, I miss just hugging people after the class. I miss going out and having lunch with people, dinner with people, you know, and that human thing, that thing that is so essential for us to just feel the depths of what our humanity is, the love inside us, and the gratitude that we have for the people that are in our lives. And it's something that, you know, it's missing. And I say these classes have been a miracle. I have grown so much in the last year because of these classes and because of the interaction with all of you through the meditation. And there's nothing to be, you know, sorry about or anything. It's just be nice to hug everybody. It would really be nice to just hug everybody and say thank you for being here and being part of this and sharing your life with me and allowing me to grow because of the effort that all of you are making, you know, to grow inside yourselves. So God bless you all. We'll have a meditation, and if afterwards anyone has a question, I'll be happy to do whatever I can to answer it. So bless you. I've unmuted everyone. And does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
I like you change your sweater many colors. It's very, I like to see the different colors your sweater you are wearing. Oh, it's different, feel like a different, you know.
You have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, okay.
Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart Chikor. At the beginning of meditation, there's some resistance, but there's a gradual opening and it deepens. At least this is how it appears. And at some point, it feels like there's kind of a saturation and it doesn't feel like I can go further. Or it takes great effort to go just a little bit further.
So make great effort, Shakur. Make great effort. You know, we don't have to go through every little tidbit of thing that happens to you every time you meditate. Just make an effort. You have to get beyond that resistance. And the only way you get beyond that resistance is by truly refining your inner life, getting stronger inside, you know, and not having to go through each and every little minutia, you know, about what takes place. I mean, it's all just a waste of time, you know. Make the extra effort. You know, Stuart, I made the extra effort and it was extraordinary what opened. That's what I don't want to be with this and that. And I went through this, but the chabda, and it's just nonsense, you know. I went deeper. I asked deeper. I opened deeper. And my God, it was, or I'm still hitting walls, but I recognize the walls are just my resistance to growing.
Yes.
And, you know, all the rest of the minutia is just totally unnecessary, you know? So just try that. Do me a big favor.
It is really what I'm doing.
Is that okay? Then do it a little deeper, okay?
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, you have to recognize that there are so many obstructions inside all of us that throughout our lives, we're going to constantly hit walls and barriers inside us. And these are not reasons to stop working. These are reasons and reminders of the work that we really have to do on ourselves. You know, I've always said it, I've said it for years, a saint has to surrender their sainthood in order to be enlightened. You can't walk around with a big sign around your neck saying, I'm a saint. You know, you have to, I mean, there was a guy in Kathmandu who did that. It was very funny. He had this little house there in Pasha, and he had a sign, saint, on his house. I mean, it just broke me up. It was very funny. But we need to let go of everything. Any image that we think we have of ourselves is just an obstruction and a way to keep God out of our lives. Because it's just ego, you know, it's just a way of, we think is giving us a certain kind of security. And mostly it just creates a lot of tension. And it really does not only harm to ourselves, but it does harm to other people. I mean, you know, I talk a lot about a state of nothingness, and sometimes that scares me. I got to be nothing. You know, well, the only way that the full and total energy of God can flow through us is if it's not obstructed, if we don't get in the way. And that is attaining a state of nothingness, which is basically, you know, paradoxical because it's really a oneness with everything in life and the universe. And this scares people, and it shouldn't. What scares me is not touching on that, not gradually getting closer to that state of living. That scares the hell out of me. And it really makes me work deeper and do a lot of things in my life that I ordinarily wouldn't do if I just had to make my own choices. So, you know, we have to understand the essential nature of what it is to have a spiritual life. It's letting go, surrender. Rudy's last words were deepest sense of surrender. Those were his last words on the earth, a deeper sense of surrender. And surrender doesn't mean we're giving up. It's not like the sheriff comes into town and we surrender and go to jail. You know, it means we make room in ourselves. We let go of all the things that are blocking the flow of creative energy, the energy of God, the energy of spirit. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, it's not a direct question. However, in this meditation, it felt like 5 minutes, and it actually at the end startled me when you said, does anyone have a question? Because I didn't realize an hour went by. I was like, it was really odd. I don't think I heard your time say 8 o'clock. Can you can you speak to that? I felt a few deep gratitude awarenesses came in, and then the class was over. It was really strange.
You know, look, Wendy, time is irrelevant, you know. When you're really working on yourself, you understand time passes very quickly, yet it seems like an eternity. And this is true, it's irrelevant. You know, when you're bored and you're tired, I mean, time seems to be endless, you know? But when you're really doing deep inner work, you know, a moment is an hour and an hour is a second, and it's all irrelevant. It doesn't amount to anything, and don't even worry about it. And I'm happy you didn't hear my computer say 8 o'clock. That's really a sign of very good growth.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Don't worry about these things. You're doing well, and yeah, it passes. I mean, I saw there were 40 people in this class. I thought it was going to take 20 hours to get through this class, and it went by very fast, you know? It's nice that it's growing, and it's nice that this work can be shared with so many people. You know, and I like that. It's not that I need a lot of students. I need good students. I need people that really want the spiritual life. I'm not interested in numbers and quantity. It's quality that really makes these classes work. And that's what I'm interested in. That's why I'm always open for new people, because you never know who's going to come and what kind of energy they're going to bring that's going to help everybody in the class grow. And as I always kid around, you know, I'm always still looking for the teacher of the Aquarian age. Maybe that teacher's sitting right here, I hope. We'll see what evolves in the middle of all this, you know? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Yes, Stuart. So could you talk about why it's easier to feel and connect with the heart chakra? And when we do get stronger in the root chakra and that becomes more open, what else should we feel, experience besides being very grounded?
Well, let's get there, huh? Let's get very grounded, and then the rest of it will just manifest. I mean, you know, look, I don't make out roadmaps to God, you know? I say you got to get grounded. You got to get the heart open. You got to get the mind quiet. You got to get the throat quiet, sexual energy, you know, working to activate Kundalini. You know, but this is the only roadmap. The rest of it is unique to each and every person that's in this class. And you never know what I mean, I've had everything from great, you know, Sufi experiences to Christian things to, you know, Judaic things. I mean, and to things I don't even understand, for God's sake, that have come through me in the middle of these meditations. So there's no answer to that question. There really isn't. And I can't answer that question. But I can tell you that the roadmap to an experience of transcendental energy is developing the chakra system, getting really grounded inside, getting the heart open, the throat open, the mind quiet, you know, allowing the wisdom of God. You know, it's very interesting because it came to me that the wisdom of God is the Om sound. It's the sound of all creative energy. Everything that's manifesting in the universe is a product of the Om sound, because that is what's coming directly from the source of all creative energy. And that is truly the wisdom of God. The wisdom of God is not in English or Portuguese or, you know, when we take it in, it becomes English and Portuguese and Greek and whatever, you know, French. But the Om sound, by its very nature, is truly the wisdom of God. And we have to take it in and allow it to nurture us and to teach us. And then it formulates, you know, in different languages and different ideas and different, you know, as it flows through us. And each of us, it formulates differently because each of us is unique. So I don't know what goes beyond that, except get a highly developed chakra system, and you will find out. You really will. I'm finding out. I found out years ago what takes place. And it's just something staggering and extraordinary. But the most important elements of it is just love, you know, to be able to love, to be able to have compassion, to have, you know, to live that way is simply the highest way that a human being can live on this planet. And the quickest way to work out all the karma that we have to work out. So I really don't know what how to tell you what goes beyond this. I do know if you do all the things I'm asking you to do, you will find out how uniquely it will happen to you, not how it happens to me or anyone else in the class. But you got to put in the foundation, the grounding. The very base of everything is essential if we're going to move into transcendental planes of consciousness.
Thank you.
Welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I do.
Yes.
Why does the language or sound of God, as you just said, have to be the Om sound? Why can't it just be a sound? Why Om specifically? Everyone talks about Om.
Why is the sky blue, Daddy? You know, give me a break, you know? I mean, it's Om. Om is a word, okay? God is a word. You understand? It's just a word for that sound. The sound itself doesn't sound like Om. It's, you know, closer to it is like a high-pitched electronic sound that is somewhere in the universe that we can't figure out where the hell it is. It happened to me when I was 6 years old, lying in bed, hearing that sound, and then trying to, where is that coming from? It wasn't Om being chanted in my backyard as I was laying in bed at night, you know? It's a word. It's like God is a word. I mean, you know, and when it becomes a word, it's always secondary to what it really is. So what I'm talking about is taking in the vibration of Om. You know, not listen for Om, you know, and it's not going to come. It's just a word that, you know, signifies that particular vibration that comes out of the cosmos. So I wouldn't, you know, I don't know. I mean, these are questions I can't even answer. You know, it's asking me like, why is the sky blue, Daddy? I don't know. It's blue, you know? I mean, the answers to these things are just open up and take in Om. You know, take in the sound of creative energy in the universe. Let it come in and nurture you inside. Let it connect you with God. Let it allow you to become a child of God living in the world. Let it transform everything in your life into something miraculous and sacred. That's the sound of Om. Not why is it Om or why is it, you know, I don't know what, you know? Why isn't it the sound of a car honking its horn, you know? The great one in Japanese Zen is the sound of one hand clapping. What is that? What's the sound of one hand clapping? I mean, they say that if you can hear the sound of one hand clapping, you'll be enlightened. Well, what is it? It's Om, it's silent. It's the vibration of the universe. The sound of one hand clapping. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart, it's Paula. I wanted to ask you, last week during one of the meditations, I felt a sensation I never felt before. It felt like light cradling the base of my skull. And there was such a sense of well-being emanating from the place where the skull and the last vertebrae meet. It was so beautiful. And I wanted to ask you about that place in the spine. Is it a chakra? Is it like, what is it about that place?
Oh, the place where the skull and the shoulders meet, or
the last vertebra, the spine. So where the skull and the spine meet.
Great questions tonight. Look, Listen, Paula, just really just be grateful your experience. What's the difference? What is the difference, for God's sake? Just be grateful that you're having these experiences and thank God for them and let them grow and expand inside you. You know, it could be the heart chakra opening. It could be the throat chakra opening. You understand? It could be energy moving from the crown. You know, energy moves also down the chakra system. I don't know if you know that. I've never really spoken about that.
I didn't know that it moved down.
Yeah, it moves down and then up. The energy that moves down, you understand? And it really is it's an energy of healing, of, you know, transformation also. So it could be a lot of things, you know, but the most important thing is not to analyze it or figure out what it is. Just let it work on you. Let it help you to grow. Be grateful for it, you know?
Absolutely.
Because what you described is wonderful, Paula, you know, it really is. And I don't think it needs to go any further than, well, what takes place the last child, you know, the last vertebrae, and go see Pat Fay. Maybe he can tell.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
Who else have a question I can't answer? You're stumping me tonight. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, well, God bless you and thank you for the questions, and thank you for just being here and doing this and seeing the growth that is taking place in everybody that comes to these classes. I think that's an incredible miracle, you know, that's taking place. We're in the middle of all this COVID stuff and everything else going on in this crazy world. We can do this, you know, and get nurtured and grow together this way. And there are people here from all over the world, you know, and to me, it's like miraculous. It's something extraordinary. So God bless you all and thank you. And there'll be meditation on Wednesday. And I hope to see you. If you know people that want to attend these classes, that want, you know, I'm open to having new students, you know, and it's just, I don't know. I don't understand anything, frankly. I got to a place in my life where I gave up trying to understand anything. I just do what works. And for God's sake, this really works. And I'm just very grateful for it. So bless you all.
Thank you, Stuart.
Night, Stuart. Thank you, Stuart.
Best, Stuart. Thank